all. Khani in South Africa. Okay, Khani. Hi, Khani. We were just talking a few minutes ago. She was elected as the group leader of her group. So congratulations to her on the live call. Okay, so I think we are live now. Are we, Hazel? We are already live. Okay, great. So we can start in a few more minutes, and we'll give people to join. Nasif Mahmood, so excited for the session, sir. Yes, we are very, very excited to have all of you, because you make what we are, our such great diverse group, we have lots of people from Bangladesh. Wonderful, wonderful participation, because Bangladesh Institute of Innovative Health Research is the chief organizer and collaborator for this particular program, although the global consortium is the knowledge partner. Okay, we have from UAE as well, Venus from UAE, and then we have from Bangladesh, we have from Mumbai, Annual from everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. So, I will now let the mic go to the organizers. They'll speak first, then they will hand over the mic to me, and then I'll conduct the overall proceedings. Okay, we are live, so we can start now. Thank you. Hey, sir. Okay, thank you, Faisal, for such a brilliant introduction and setting the rules and guidelines for the meeting. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Professor Maheswar Satpathy. I'm here to basically lead the panel discussion. But before we go to the panel discussion, I would say a little bit about what this particular initiative is all about. This is an advanced certificate program which is created by Global Consortium of Global Health Actors, Leaders and Thinkers, GCOGH ALT, which operates under the Global Health Leadership by Global South Initiative. It's a flagship project by the Global Health Forum. The consortium brings together global health experts, researchers, practitioners, and policymakers, especially from developing and underrepresented regions, to collaborate on transformative research that drives equity and systemic change in the health. So therefore, you are all welcome, because health is everyone's business and everyone should have a voice in talking about health. So today we have an eminent researcher, professor, a change maker, and among us, and he is none other than Dr. Joe Thomas, who is already on the screen. I am hopefully you are able to see him, and a lot of people are slowly joining, and so hopefully we'll have a big momentum coming up in the next few minutes. And in the meantime, let me introduce Dr. Joe Thomas to all of you. Joe Thomas, Dr. Joe Thomas, very famously known as Joe, my friend for about 20 years almost now. So we know each other for a very, very long time. I'm very happy to see him after a very long time on live call again. So COVID disrupted many things. One of the worst things which happened is we couldn't see each other as much as we should have as friends, family, and everyone. So let me introduce quickly about such a luminary person. Words will be actually very little to describe his stature, but let me try. So Dr. Joe Thomas, MSc, PhD, FRS, PH, that is Fellow of Royal Society of Public Health, is an accomplished author, academic, diplomat, and a global leader in public health, rights, and development issues. Dr. Thomas has been active in global health and social development for over 25 years. He has excellent leadership qualities and outstanding administrative and specific technical expertise in public health policies, reproductive health, and health rights. He also works with fragile settings, research data analysis, and preparing scientific reports. In addition, he has proven excellent experience in the administration and management of complex multi-stakeholder public health projects of high-level strategic engagements, and proven expertise in a cross-cutting multicultural work environment in Africa and Asia. Dr. Thomas has demonstrated his expertise in developing advanced syllabi for public health education, high-value strategic partnership with governments, UN agencies, and non-state actors, drafting complex MOUs and strategic bilateral agreements, and establishing multi-stakeholder alliances and multi-country research projects. He is a member of the board of directors of several NGOs and INGOs. In addition, he has established 3 schools of public health and developed the syllabi for teaching masters in public health, philosophy, disaster management, and sustainability studies. In fact, if I tell you, he is one of the early founders of public health schools in India. So he has contributed significantly to the public health education system in India. Dr. Thomas worked as the executive director of an intergovernmental organization of 26 governments that is known as Partners in Population and Development, that is PPD, permanent observer to the UN General Assembly, focusing on sexual and reproductive health. In this capacity, he represented PPD at the UN General Assembly in New York and the World Health Assembly, that is WHA, in Geneva. He spoke at the UN General Assembly on antimicrobial resistance, sustainable development goals, migration and refugee compact South-South cooperation. He reported to a high-powered board of directors, 26 ministers of 26 member countries. He chaired by the Minister of Health of the Government of China. The vice chair was the Health Minister of India. Dr. Thomas has hosted several international interministerial conferences in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, Dakar, Senegal, Dhaka, Bangladesh, New Delhi, India, and Beijing, China. Look at the diversity of the countries he has actually represented, and he has led the public health initiatives. Dr. Thomas was the organizing secretary of the 12th International Congress on AIDS in the Asia Pacific. That is one of the largest congresses I have been to, and let me tell you my personal experience. It's just a wonderful place to be and to share and exchange the amount of information, get to learn about so many very important critical work that is happening in the area of HIV/AIDS and STIs and overall infectious diseases. So Dr. Thomas initiated the Global Commission on Aging in Developing Countries. The Commission's goal was to enable gender, equity, and right-based policies and programming that would improve the quality of life of the aging population in developing countries, including 25 member countries of PPD. Dr. Thomas was the founding director and professor of social determinants of health and social policy at Jodhpur National University. In that capacity, he supervised PhD students and created a scholarship program for 150 staff members from the Ministry of Public Health of Afghanistan to take their MPH courses. Dr. Thomas also carried out several strategic short-term consultancies for the World Health Organization. He worked as a consultant to the Premier's Office, Provincial Government, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, to assess the Premier's flagship program for poverty reduction, health equity, and youth and women's empowerment. With UNAIDS, he carried out engaging an enemy within HIV response of Indian paramilitary forces, a case study of the Assam Rifle. See, look at the diversity of the population he has worked on again. His earlier experiences include working in an Australian government-supported advisor's capacity for the Ministry of Health in East Timor and as a regional manager of the Northern Territory AIDS and Hepatitis Council in Darwin, Australia. In addition, he worked as a research fellow at the Chinese University, City University of Hong Kong, and La Trobe and Deakin University in Melbourne, Australia. In Hong Kong, he also worked with the refugees detained in refugee camps, addressing the refugee population's health and community support needs. He has led a multi-country, 11 countries, project on HIV-related stigma, discrimination, rights, and aging in developing countries, that is 22 countries. His postdoctoral studies and publications at Oxford University have focused on policy issues related to refugee detention. He has authored 4 books and over 100 peer-reviewed papers. So, Dr. Thomas has lived, worked, and consulted in India, Hong Kong, China, Australia, East Timor, Nepal, Bangladesh, Mongolia, South Africa, Rwanda, Burundi, Geneva, the UK, and 50 other countries. Dr. Thomas is a visiting professor at the Global Institute of Public Health, Kerala, University of Health Sciences. Dr. Thomas worked as the senior lecturer in public health and national course coordinator at the Health Institute of at the Institute of Health and Management in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Professor Thomas is the chair of Global Health at Sustainability Solutions Foundation and the director of learning at the Australian Institute of Community Health Management in Australia. That's all that I could actually say for now, because we have a huge panel to moderate. But his profile is so prolific and so versatile that actually I'll take the entire 3-4 hours to actually speak something about it. Still not be qualified enough to probably summarize enough. So that's all from my side. So I would welcome Dr. Joe Thomas to please come on camera and present his talk and give his lecture to our learned audience who come from all over the world, literally. I'm sure more people will join us in the meantime while he starts his presentation. And then followed by his presentation, he will speak about 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, we'll have a panel discussion, which will be moderated by me. And then we'll open the floor for audience question and answer. That will be the structure of today's lesson. Please keep yourself muted. Please keep posting any comments, any reactions that you have in the chat, and let Professor Joe Thomas give his excellent presentation, which I'm very much looking forward to. So the mic is all yours, Dr. Joe Thomas. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing you.
Thank you very much. Namaskar. And it was a very generous introduction. I particularly thank you for that. And I can see there is a large number of audience from Bangladesh. So, Kamanache, Balo. And why I emphasize Bangladesh is my health diplomacy practice I've done from Bangladesh. I lived there for about 6 years as a senior health diplomat. So what I'm presenting today is the experience came from Bangladesh that is significantly contributed towards my presentation and my understanding about health diplomacy and also the global health. As an introduction, I wanted to say is global health and health diplomacy is going through a serious challenges or crisis. We know that recently for the last 3 months is very significant in the history of global health and global health diplomacy, particularly from the point of view of developing countries' perspective. So we know that the United States, they withdraw from WHO, and also they withdrew, they canceled the USAID funding for the global health globally. So at one stroke, within the last 3 or 4 months, probably about 15,000 people working in the global health is literally vanished from their work experience. So this is one of the significant part of the experience of global health when you try to understand. This has got implication on all the countries because USAID supported global programs are covering most of the countries, and either they cut down dramatically most of the programs or the staff is withdrawn. So this is the one area which, when we look at global partnership, this is what we have to keep in mind. And second, I mean, I've been told that about 90 to 100 people are going to attend this session. This itself is showing the new forms of global partnership, global collaboration. And I just wanted to emphasize the wording, and I'll be using the word collaboration. And there are other words like alliances, partnership, so consortium. This all denote almost same meaning. But I just wanted to highlight the issue of the language in global health, because the way we use certain language in public health and global health is very important. To begin with, global health and international health, the difference between that. For example, international health is relationship between few countries, whereas global health is health of the globe. So I just give an example about it. And before I get into to understand the complexity of collaboration, global health, and global health diplomacy, I just want to introduce some of the keywords which will be used or which will be used in this session. So when I try to introduce that keywords, that will give you the complexity of the session, complexity of the issues we're trying to talk about. The first word is about the power dynamics in collaboration. Collaboration has got power dynamics. And the second is about hierarchies in collaboration. Collaboration is not necessarily a neutral relationship. There are hierarchies involved in quite often. And what are they? Then when you talk about collaboration, what is the terrain of collaboration? Where are we going to collaborate? The institutional mechanism, the terrain of collaboration. Then broadly, when you talk about collaboration from the global south and south-south collaboration, that's another nature of collaboration. Now we know that there are global north and global south, north-south collaboration. Then when we talk about collaboration, issue of colonization comes in. How you decolonize public health, because many of the concepts, practices, methodology, theories are still influenced by colonial ideas, colonial influences, colonial themes. So decolonizing public health is one of the important aspects to understand the opportunities and the scope and space of them in the global collaboration. So this, I just wanted to highlight this. The next is about collaboration is not a neutral effect. It has got risk as well as benefit. So this is another important issue. You might remember that. Then when you talk about global health cooperation, global collaboration, what is the governance mechanism? How this phenomena is being governed? Who governs it? What is the governance mechanism of the global health collaboration? Then when we apply this to the global health diplomacy, who are the actors of the global health diplomacy? Who practice? Who is the main players? And how do we understand them in the context of collaboration? And finally, what are the examples of global health diplomacy? So what I introduce is some of the keywords which will come through our discussion, which are on my presentation. So I just introduce the keywords first before I get into that. Normally, when you present a paper,
Joe,
we write the keywords.
Excuse me, Joe. Could I just disturb you? Could you please put the camera in front of you, because your face is cutting. You know, it's like, yeah. Tilt the camera. Yeah, like, yeah. Increase it. Yeah. Now you're better.
Is it all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, let me just introduce few issues about the background issues. Today, when you talk about global health collaboration, many of the institutions are being challenged. Global health institutes are being challenged, and the relevance are being challenged. the global health practitioners are being challenged. And this is particularly becoming important for people who are marginalized, and they're being challenged. They're giving, I mean, they're being nullified. Their contributions are undermined. So this is the one thing we have to keep in mind, that when you talk about health diplomacy and also the level of partnership. But when we get into the issue of global health partnership, global health diplomacy, when I introduced this issue, then I was talking to somebody, then they said, when you talk about global health collaboration, what is the theoretical basis? Because from a public health point of view, very rarely we talk about the theories of public health. But if you want to get the depth of a discussion, the intellectual depth of any discussion about global health, global practice, we have to look at the conceptual areas which is driving the ideas. What theoretical foundations we can derive to look at the issue of global collaboration, global partnership. Because many people think that this is a very pedestrian idea, partnership and collaboration. What is the conceptual or theoretical basis for that? So I looked into that. There are very significant theoretical foundations or theoretical concept we can borrow to understand the role of partnership, the role of collaboration in global health, because this has got nuances and significance. So one of the theory which, when I try to understand the theory, is what you call the complexity theory of public health. When you talk about global health and public health, it's about complexity. The word complexity is applied when more than one factor is influencing one phenomena. Global health is influenced by several variables, several phenomena. And these variables are national policies, global institutions, key players, the teaching institutions, and also the actual diplomatic activities where it's being taken place, being practiced. For example, the World Health Assembly of WHO, that is a general body of the World Health WHO, also UN General Assembly and Security Council. So these are the two major areas in which global health diplomacy and partnership is being practiced and being I would say, being acted upon that. Then there are different institutions. When you look at unpacking the partnership issue, there are major 8 intergovernmental organization or bipartisan agencies who are actively involved in the global health diplomacy as well as of partnership. They are UNICEF, UNFPA, UNDP. So like this international UN agencies also play a very important venue for collaboration. And sometimes they act as the gatekeepers. They decide who is going to collaborate, to what extent you're going to collaborate, and what themes are being brought into the international level. For example, when you talk about global health, my keyword unpacking, I mentioned about global health. How do we decolonizing? The decolonizing is quite often, it is not heard in the global health dialogue, global health diplomacy, because when you look at the leading global health, public health institutions, schools of public health, these are mostly from the global north. And that itself, they act as a gatekeeper for who is going to come in the global leadership level. So this is, I can see that most of the participants today are from the global south. And some of you legitimately should be at the global partnership level, at the global leadership level, at the global health. So, but at the same time, you have significant barriers, intellectual barriers, institutional barriers, and also operational barriers. So to understand that barriers, my background discussion may give you some ideas about it. And this may not give you a roadmap towards how to be an active partner, being an active collaboration in the global health. But at the same time, this will enhance your understanding about global health institutions, global health mechanism, how this partnership being gatekept. And this is explained through what we call it as a public health complexity theory. So when you talk about partnership, it is again the issue of complexity. The complexity in terms of global health financing. Who is financing the global health partnership? Quite often, global health partnership is financed by global north, global health universities are the one who's supplying leadership and the human resources for the global health. Just that keep in mind. At the same time, people from the global south, developing countries, also creating their own global health networks. And that networks bring in tremendous power and capacity. Number one, to set the agenda. Number two, that will give us a springboard to the leaders to come up on an operational level and also idea articulation level. For example, quite often, I mean, I participate several international conferences, online, offline. Very few conferences you see about 100 participants from the developing countries. From that point of view, I appreciate the contribution of the Bangladesh Institute of Innovation and also Maheswar's personal contribution towards bringing together. So this is another important thing. You need your own institutions which can promote and provide opportunities, provide platform like this to be active in the global health dialogue and diplomacy. And utilizing the technology, important part of it. This technology gives a tremendous cutting edge. And now the AI, artificial intelligence, is going to come. We have to see how that is going to contribute in changing the terrain of global health diplomacy. Again, I want to highlight another issue. In many countries, they have a global health ambassadors, but not in the developing countries. Probably this is one thing you have to keep in mind. You have to negotiate, you have to inform your own government in developing countries the need for creating global health ambassadors. Australia got a global health ambassador. United States got a global health ambassador. UK got a global health ambassador. Most of the developing countries, the global health ambassadors are the one who coordinating the terrain operation, the gatekeeping of that country's position in the global health. So that way, if you don't reach out, you don't network with them, your opportunities are quite often become very limited. But counteract this is, probably you may have to create new avenues. Particularly, you have to advocate with your own governments the need for developing countries nominating health ambassadors, because health ambassadors act as a focal person for promoting national health issues and negotiating at the international political relationship. And this will be explained to this complexity theory. The details of this is in my handout that I have elaborated on that. Right now, I'm just highlighting this theoretical basis. And also another concept is called transdisciplinary approach. Transdisciplinary approach is approaching the global health collaboration, global health diplomacy, not from the biomedical point of view. Remember, health and medicine are two different things. Medicine is about treating, health is mostly about prevention. So this you have to keep that very important aspect of global health, and global health from a medical point of view and a socio-ecological perspective. And again, another thing, when you look at the public health institutions and the public health agencies, quite often they are dominated, they're controlled from a biomedical perspective. And increasingly, socio-ecological leadership is emerging to lead the global health discussion, global health dialogue. When we looked at the social determinants of the key determinants of a disease like diabetics, from a medical point of view, it is called as a lifestyle disease. But when we looked at the review literature, about 51 variables are influencing the diabetics prevention, care, and treatment. Out of these 51 variables, this lifestyle is a concept which is not defined. Lifestyle is a very loosely proposed idea. It can be anything. It can mean anything for many. But this idea of lifestyle is used mostly by biomedical point of view. But ultimately, when we unpack it, what we see is that you're blaming the patient. Your lifestyle is the cause of the disease. But at the same time, one of the major reasons for diabetics is, number one, when you look at, again, if you unpack what is the lifestyle, there are two factors. The physical activity, the intensity of physical activity, and also the kind of food you take. These are the two aspects of lifestyle, which in relation to in non-communicable chronic diseases. But let me come to this idea of how the naming of certain issues in public health. These 51 variables, the physical activity is not decided by one person alone. You should have a environment where we can have a safe walking. In many of the developing countries, you don't have a safe footpath. You look at the Dhaka street, you don't have a
have 10 more
footpath.
minutes.
Sure, I'll come. I'll wind up. Thank you for letting me. So the language is an important part in understanding global health and also to understand the space in which. The next idea is about a planetary health framework, and the health is understood in a planetary health point of view. And there are a few other concepts which I'm just leaving it. When you look at the global health diplomacy and the governance, the global health diplomacy is about getting things done from a political perspective. How do you negotiate for the better outcome for the health at the political level? When you negotiate for the trade agreement, when you negotiate for the bilateral agreement, when you negotiate for the border security issues, because there is a concept called health in all policies. And the health in all policies also has sort of implication on partnership and collaboration. So what I'm giving you is the global terrain about the area of collaboration. And this is also very clearly implied in the health diplomacy. Again, what is the result? Why it's important we should look at the collaboration. The collaboration provides better health outcome. And we know that 431 million people can access essential health services because of the Global Health Partnership. Partnership for the physicians, partnership for the public health practitioners, and also how, for example, this meeting have the capacity to influence the quality and thinking of the practitioners, which will indirectly and directly contribute towards the capacity for prevention. And again, when you look at, and sorry, I'm just skipping through. And I just wanted to summarize, there are 7 dimensions involved in health diplomacy. Health diplomacy is about navigating geopolitical, ideological, national interests that might hinder solution for have a benefit for everybody. So this is an important part of the understanding about health diplomacy. For example, right now, this month there is a global health World Health Assembly will be held in Geneva. About 180 items will be discussed, and one of the major contribution will be the global pandemic treaty will be resolved. A global pandemic treaty is one of the major partnership of 192 countries, which you may have to take a look at it, how you can involve in the national level at the global pandemic treaty. And the 7 dimensions, one is negotiating to promote health in the face of other interests. Health is negotiating, health is competing with other interests. What capacity you have to negotiate with other interests. Establish a new governance mechanism in support of the health. Creating alliances in support of the health outcome. You're looking at a maternal and child health partnership, every woman and every child partnership. These are some of the examples of the partnership. Building and managing donor and stakeholder relationship. This is another important part of partnership. Responding to public health crisis as and when it is coming, not only from the biomedical perspective, from the socio-ecological perspective, how are we going to respond to the global health crisis? Improving relationship between countries through health. And interestingly, global health diplomacy is contributing towards reducing conflict between these countries. How do we utilize it? And also improving relationship between countries through health. That's another major contributing factor that. And finally, global health diplomacy contributing towards peace and security. In nutshell, partnership collaboration is considered as, even in the popular language and also in the biomedical framework, collaboration and partnership may not be high in the area of global health and public health, but this is an area which is not explored much. And I congratulate the organizers who decided to focus on this, the collaboration and what is the relevance for the participants. And these are the way we understand, and I hope my brief presentation has given some idea about the idea of partnership and what is its scope and how it can contribute towards better health outcome. And thank you very much for your attention. And I'll be happy to take questions and discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Such a wonderful presentation, such an insightful presentation. As always, Joe is full of energy, and he's never growing older. Like every year I meet him, he is growing younger. See, look at his face, the glowing, radiating face. You know, so he's such a wonderful friend of mine for the past 20 years, and every year I get to talk to him. He is doing something new, setting up some new institution, achieving some new milestones. So he is so inspirational, and that's the first reason why I chose him as the first panelist to be invited to this particular advanced certificate course. I wanted all my participants from all over the world to listen to such a stalwart in the area of global public health and infectious diseases and such areas. He's like an eminent scholar in the area of global health security, refugee studies, migration, and also global health diplomacy. He has taught that course. He's in fact actually hosting an online course offline right now. It will be online, he told me, very soon. And so now we'll have a structured, moderated panel discussion. So I'll be asking a few questions, and these are very basic questions. I know that he will have very, very wise answers to these questions, but I'm sure all our participants will benefit greatly by listening to all the responses to these questions, because they will help them to think more and achieve more insights from him, such a scholar of great international repute. So I have a few questions to ask to you, Joe. So you have already spoken a few things, but still I have a structured questionnaire to ask you, and I would be very grateful if you could answer me precisely on these questions. Okay, so the first question to you is, how has collaboration in global health evolved in recent years? You as a global health scholar has been very active globally. You have so much of multifarious experience. So how do you see the change and evolution in this global health space? How has that collaboration activity changed? Has any significant change that has struck your attention?
Yeah, I'm monitoring from my personal experience last almost 25 years, the nature of global health partnership, how it's coming, and who are the players, who are the institutions, and also be part of some of this global partnership. But I was very hopeful about the contribution of global health partnership till recently. But the US president's the executive orders is dramatically upside down many of the global health partnership. But I wrote an editorial about this. What are the opportunities given by global health partnership because of the US withdrawing from the global health arena? One of the issues is that till now, US academicians, the US scientists, they were the leaders of global health partnership. So right now, there's an opportunity for global health leadership coming from the global south. For example, I can give a very concrete example about it. In United States, they have about 71 WHO collaborating centers. Since WHO withdrew, probably this 71 collaborating partnership has to be reassigned from United States. And I would say that this is an opportunity for the global south to bid for it. You work in your own countries, which institution may be able to bid for this collaborative partnership institution, WHO collaborative partnership. These are very important global partnership leadership. I'm just giving a very concrete example about it. And these 71 institutions need to be reassigned. And I assume that WHO has to take that leadership instead of waiting for the United States to come back and give some pittance for the global health. So financially, it may have reduced, but at the same time, global health leadership, there's a vacuum. And right now, if you look at the global health leadership, these are coming from major about 10 US universities, schools of public health. Now that leadership is being challenged. And are we ready to take up this leadership? So this, I think, probably we have to seriously think about it. I would even say that this network should pass a resolution and inform WHO take immediate steps to dismantle the WHO Partnership Institution of the United States and resettle it in developing countries and build the capacity and negotiate and build the capacity. And maybe this network should act as a catalyst for doing that. So that way, there are new challenges as well as new opportunities. So this is my summary. The challenges are new, opportunities also new. So I look forward to looking at new players coming in. And who are these new players? Leadership from the Global South. And probably when you look at the global health leadership, very few women are in the global health leadership. And few LGBT community members are at the leadership level. So this traditionally excluded community could take up the leadership. So this is my hope in the partnership and collaboration at the global health level. Thank you.
Definitely, Joe. I completely agree. In fact, the lack of representation is one of the major issues. If the global south is not actually as represented as it should have been, and talking about LGBTQI population and women and other people from socially disenfranchised communities, they're hardly represented. Most of the global health space is completely filled and fested with the global elites, and we know them, right? So your remarkable insights in this area is definitely praiseworthy. And thank you for saying that, yes, the global consortium should work towards actually passing a resolution. That is one of the biggest goals with which we are working. That is one of the objectives with which we are working. Our goal is to create the next generation of thinkers, actors, thinkers, and leaders. And we want to strengthen them so that they are ready to take up the leadership position. And we'll definitely try our very best to pass a resolution, as well as try to communicate to WHO and other UN agencies, so that there is some amount of space, some amount of opportunity for people like us from the global south. So definitely. So the next question to you: what are the ingredients of a successful international health partnership, according to your own personal experience? Because you have led so many big missions, you have led so many international initiatives, you have created institutions. What do you think? What are the critical ingredients of a successful international health partnership?
If I may look, I don't have any immediate solution or formula to say that. And when I look at my experience, it is maybe at the right time, at the right place. But that's at the same time, your intellectual capacity and capacity to absorb information and knowledge and process it is an important part of it. And you should be at par with anybody at the global level, whether you are from XYZ university. So you constantly invest in your knowledge building. So this is an important part of it. And second, your ability to reach out to other people. But at the same time, the other party may not acknowledge you. You may reach out to a global leader in global health. They may not even acknowledge your presence. They may not even reply your your letter. But at the same time, that consistency and persistence, an important part of it. And the third, look at the opportunities. And that's very, very precious for people from the developing countries. And see, one of the main opportunities to network is international conferences on global health. But international conference on global health is extremely prohibitively expensive. And also it is normally held in the developing countries. And you may be able to get a scholarship, you may be able to get a ticket, but your visa may be rejected. So these are some of the dynamics of how people are systematically being left out. So because I have organized international conferences, I organized scholarship for international conference. So I know the difficulties of getting scholarship for international conference. The 12th International Conference on AIDS in Asia Pacific, I managed 600 scholarship, full paid, fee paid scholarship. And that's the first time that level of scholarship. But to raise that funding, I had to use all my diplomatic skills. And also there are global diplomatic dealing and wheeling has to be done, because I did some international political diplomacy to get this funding for this conference. I had to get favor for, I had to do favor for some health ministers. I had to do their political bidding. So I'm just giving a very frank discussion about it. So global health diplomacy, the skills you required is number one, you should be at the top of your subject. That nobody can challenge you. And the human resources, whatever you do, there are barriers, but barriers there, everywhere there are barriers in whatever field, there are barriers, but that should not put you off on that. Then second, and always there is an opportunity that will come through. If you're persistent, it will come through. See, for example, in this group, you have, suppose 100 people write a global health agenda from the developing countries. You write your name wise and you send it to the editorial. Probably I can publish in the critical public health. I'm not promising. Probably we can do that. A global health agenda from the global south. Sign all of you, but creatively and critically look at what are the global health challenges from the diplomacy, collaboration, partnership, financing, decolonizing, and identify about 10 challenges for the global health. So these are the skills. You create your own opportunity. And the most important opportunity is that your 100 people are here from the global south. You come out with a statement of this 100 people from the global south on global health leadership. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? But I'm just giving a very broader framework. And this could be one of the meeting and conference discussion. What is the global health agenda from a developing country perspective, from your own agenda? Each one you come out to the 5 priority areas. And this will be called as what, the Delphi method. Through Delphi method, 100 people, this is methodologically very sound, you can do that. So that itself, immediately the global health community will take note of you. Because if you look at any statement, any consolidated statement, any consensus statement on global health is normally organized by a global health, public health university from United States or UK. Never from Utkal University taking the leadership. Never from Bangladesh Institute of Innovation in Health. So, but you put your name on it, you think about it, and take some systematic approach for creating that. I'll be as an editor in chief. I have some leverage. I'm not saying that I have full leverage to push some ideas, push some editorial. Think about it. So this is a way you build up you create a space for yourself at the global level. Thank you.
Definitely, Joe. We are on board with you on that idea. We are, in fact, working towards that. That is one of our biggest objectives. That we have to come up with something which pushes policy level changes, not just research level insights, but policy level changes, makes people think, and we should be able to not just nudge, but be sufficiently able to stimulate and challenge maybe the global health space by putting forward the ideas from the global south. Right now on screen, I can see there are about 164, 65 people, but the people keep coming, they keep dropping, and it's happening. We are noticing that. So we have more than 900 applicants from all over the world, from more than 100 countries. That is the cohort that we are actually talking about. And many of them are facing issues in joining due to logistical issues, I don't know. But they are watching your lecture on YouTube. So by tomorrow itself, you will see it will cross probably 10,000, 20,000 views. And it's quite a big achievement in the area of global health, public health, and science and technology, because not many people actually watch these kind of lectures. That's the reality on YouTube. People watch entertainment things, but they don't watch the things which actually should matter to the people. Okay, so and talking about decolonization, I have an interesting question which I have not listed in my area means question list, but I would definitely ask you because you are the right person to ask that question, and I keep talking about it on LinkedIn all the time. So let me ask you very frankly, like, what do you think? Why are so many Western, European, or American elite professors talking so much about decolonization, whereas we know for sure that colonization is the result of those countries and those entities, So, and when you talk about decolonization, are we actually sufficiently and authentically, genuinely interested in decolonizing and investing ourselves emotionally and intellectually in giving the space to the people who we call colonized? And are we actually meaning only again a kind of a ritual, is some sort of performative ritual, or do we really mean to create some amount of real change in the process? Because I have lots of questions. I mean, like I can have a literal panel on that topic itself. Since our topic is a little different, so I'll restrict my questions to this. But I would definitely like to have a very free and frank and uh, any kind of free response from you. that you would like to say to this Global South audience? Because this Global South audience is very, very impatient, let me tell you. They are very impatient. The kind of discussion happening in groups. We have 25 working groups, let me tell you. The kind of discussions they are having is very, very interesting. And they are like contagious. The kind of energy, the vivaciousness. I mean, like, you'll be very surprised if I give you entry to one of the groups, the kind and nature of interaction they are having, the dialogues they are having. So please say your views. Thank you.
And thank you for asking this issue about decolonizing public health. To begin with, if you look at the history of public health is evolved as a medical science, an extension of this. So the theories of public health is derived from biomedical understanding about public health. So this is one part of it. And the modern medicine itself is evolved from the colony. And if you look at some of the schools of public health, even the name still carries the messages or shades of colonialism. I'm not giving the names of some of the schools of public health, global schools of public health. Then next thing you have to look at the agenda of masters in public health. Just an example about it. Quite often, any masters of public health, you have about 25 to 26 subjects. And the subjects, the themes and agenda are not necessarily from the health agenda of the developing countries. See, many of the developing countries, for example, there is something called medical pluralism. Means there are different countries where there are different health mechanisms. But how do you integrate that into the mainstream health-seeking behavior? So this is one issue. It's an extension of the colonialism. I'm not saying that all the alternative medicine systems are foolproof, but that also should be scientifically validated. So unless, because we are talking about health from a different point of view, all the health-related interventions should be scientifically validated, whether it's modern medicine or traditional medicine. But this idea of there is a scope, there's a room for traditional medicines in the public health. It is, you never heard about it. For example, public health intervention. Very rarely you see the methodologies or traditional systems of medicine and their contribution towards modern medicine. And people may say that that is not scientific, but we have to remember that some of the essence in the traditional medicine that are waiting to be scientifically discovered. And you do a clinical trial and you do a scientific study, because according to WHO, the concept of evidence, because modern medicine gives a top evidence, and the evidence is coming through clinical trial. At the same time, there are hierarchy of evidence. Clinical trial evidence may be the top, but then there are opinions and experience is also evidence. For example, in most of the modern medicine, there is something called expert opinion. Expert opinion is not necessarily based on evidence and data, it's opinion, perception, experience. So most of the traditional medicine, we could say that they are opinions consolidated through experience of a collective population. That is proof of evidence, but that proof should be strengthened. So this is the role of state. This is the role of government. How do you enhance the proof in non-allopathic medicine? I'm not saying that all should be accepted. So this is the one aspect of decolonizing. The idea of there is a contribution of non-allopathic medicine or local traditional system of medicine has got to do something about contribution to the health and well-being. It is not the full proof.
There are numerous ways of conceptualizing decolonization as a concept itself. Like, for example, you talked about dominance of Western universities, elite universities, in designing, defining, conceptualizing how global public health should be taught, and how it should be practiced even. That's something which always talks about that colonialism is too prevalent, So they do not have a space for other economies, cultures, and societies to actually have a voice in defining and even structuring how public health as a discipline should be taught, should be disseminated, should be practiced. So I think there is a lot of space for having lots of more cultural debate about these issues. But I hope in the future we'll have a separate panel on such important issues, because that's probably will not have sufficient time, because we can spend an entire day talking about decolonization, still will not come to a consensus about it, right? So let me go quickly, because I have a set of questions ready for you. You know that. So what potential barriers exist in cross-border collaboration, especially between the global south and global north, and how can we address them effectively? But I would request you to be a little bit brief now, because I have few more questions to ask. Yeah, so thank you.
See, one is about what are the barriers of global health diplomacy and in, bilateral agreements. Number one, the idea of global health diplomacy is not taken over by many of the developing countries. If you talk about Bangladesh, India, or South Africa, the idea of how to integrate health in the diplomatic area, that is not taken into consideration. See, for example, in the the diplomatic corps, there is no people specializing in health. There may be few doctors, but doctors not necessarily public health experts. So number one, the idea of health as an important part of international relationship, it is not pushed properly by the people from developing country. Second is the human resources issue. The people who have got expertise, understanding, and the ability to analyze what are the global health implications of bilateral agreement, trade agreements, or other international agreements. So this is the second part of it. And the third is that no resource allocation for strengthening the global health diplomacy. So this is immediately, I would say briefly, three areas. There are a few other areas, but I highlight these three. Also, I have a request to all of you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Some of these issues I discussed in, and the link is given in my handout. Thank you. Next question, please.
Okay, definitely. I'm sure our participants would be very happy to subscribe to your channel. Okay, let me go quickly to the next question. So how can global health diplomacy shape policy and funding decisions that is about to take place? Because now that we have a very rapidly changing funding scenario in the world.
See, one is about, the funding is not necessarily the dollar amount that is settled. There are human resources issues. For example, I mentioned about bidding for the 71 WHO collaborative centers. So it's not only resources, it's a matter of human resources. For example, each developing country institutions, they have to see carefully out of this 71 institution, which one you can bid and what is your capacity. And if I use them in Bangladesh, there are about, I think, 10 schools of public health. Look at your syllabus and can you bid for any of this WHO collaborative centers. In India, there are about 100 schools of public health. Look at your syllabus. And this 100 schools of public health is 50% is controlled by biomedical perspective, and other 50% is coming from the socio-ecological perspective. This issue of standardizing the syllabus, because 50% is under UGC, the other one ICMR control. So this is itself there is an intellectual tug of war is going on that. And so I'm looking at global health, and the global health is also not part of the public health teaching in many of the countries. In India, out of this 100 schools of public health, hardly one or two universities looking at global public health. In Bangladesh, I taught in one of the North-South University a course on international health, global health. So that's the first time there is a lecture on global health and international health took place in Bangladesh. So I'm just giving an example about it, the capacity for human resources, and you may have to negotiate with your own national government for additional resources. International funding may be reducing. That's an opportunity because there are less international experts are going to come. Okay. I mean, I may be cynical, but maybe that's a fact. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like there are a number of challenges that we have to navigate as global health researchers and thinkers and actors, in this space, which is extremely contentious. Once again, it's not just pure medical science or public health, mechanical public health. Global health is a very critical field which actually sets up everything that happens around health globally. So obviously that is supposed to be a little bit more challenging if you are choosing to work in that space. So my next question is directly related to that, but a little bit very important in the current climate. So if you look at the current funding climate, how should global health actors based in the global south you said in the beginning of your lecture that a lot of people lost their jobs and livelihoods due to the recent funding cuts. So how should the actors, global health actors based in the global south, navigate their journey to maintain a voice and at the same time keep up their livelihoods?
See, one thing is I noticed that about 15,000 people lost, 15,000 people working in the global health lost their employment. But this is 15,000 mostly from United States and some other agencies working in the developing countries. So it is not impacted hugely on the people from the developing countries. So you have to keep that in mind. So how do you use as an opportunity? For example, you see now this May 20th, the Global Health Assembly is going to take place in Geneva. So probably this was a concern you should put forward to the WHO Executive Committee. This is a view. For example, the 15,000 people from the United States losing their job, that should not be an excuse for them to be redeployed into developing countries. So this is an opportunity. This is another possibility. And the second, and the WHO itself is employing probably about 2,000 people from the United States.
Yeah.
The moment they withdraw, the moment they withdraw, I think it's very normal that they also should, WHO should take a very serious look at their continuing contribution. Because US, I'm not a personality, I know many of them personally as a very good friends, I work them on a collaborative basis. But as a political issue, when the United States is withdrawing from the global institutions, and interestingly, I looked at it, and the schools of public health in the United States, they never made a statement about US being withdrawing from WHO. Very limited voice from the global health community from United States in condemning the move from United States and decimating the global health, the human resources. No resources from the faculty from the United States, public health faculty, no students' voice, no schools of public health voice. And I personally make this as a major concern. And they should have been at the top level for resisting it, for challenging it, at least on a writing their publication, editorial, and their voice is very weak. This should be articulated very clearly from the people from the global south. For example, this group, you should demand for the schools of public health in the United States, they should have a very precise and significant voice against United States withdrawing funding from the global health. But also, this is not a charity from United States. They get a diplomatic benefit. It is not a charity. When they say they invest $1.5 billion, they invest in global health, the diplomatic privileges are tremendous. For example, Global Health Assembly in Geneva, there are 180 agenda approximately. Each agenda, United States staff will have an opportunity to comment on it because they're funding it. Also, let me tell you that one of the major determinants of global health is war. War is contributing to the death and acting as a determinant of global health and well-being. And the war machinery supported by a country is negative contribution towards global health. So when you contribute to 1.5 billion for health, at the same time, suppose you support $1 trillion for war machinery, you almost nullify a contribution towards global health.
Excellent.
So this should be articulated very well. This should be put across on a global dialogue. Thank you.
I think we are going to do that, Joe, and we will seek all your support and help in this process. When drafting that, conceptualizing as well as disseminating that. So thank you for saying that without mincing any words, and that's exactly what I wanted. And I think I don't have to go to anybody else other than you for saying that. So brilliant, and that's what I wanted to hear from you as well. The next question to you is what role do you think the young researchers can play in fostering meaningful collaboration among the global South exchange, South communication?
See, one is 160 people came. That itself is a contribution of global South youngsters, and I know it's a very tedious process to sit in a video conference for some time, but these are the learning curve and learning opportunities. And you suggest what should be the agenda, not necessarily somebody, none of us saying that. You suggest what are the agenda, what agenda need to be discussed. And second, your learning curve. That learning is a personal journey. Remember that. You may have academic institutional learning, but at the same time, you have to expand your personal journey of learning. And most importantly, for example, I'll give an example about take the leading 10 public health journal. You may not be able to subscribe all that, but you can subscribe the what you call the table of content of all the journal. The table of content will give you about what is the agenda, which way it's going to go, and just give an example about it. And also try to get published in international journal. I know that the cost of publication is different, but some journal there is limited opportunity. But and enhance your skill on presenting your findings at the global level. Whenever you do it, that should be your aim. Your publication should be at the globally peer-reviewed publication to present your credential. And it's a difficult process. And many of the schools of public health or they don't train you to do that kind of expertise on the global level. And your public health education itself from the global south will not help you to put you yourself in the global level. That you have to compensate by yourself, because you have to also negotiate with the faculty to redesign your global health syllabus, your school of public health syllabus. For example, you can come out with some optional courses in global health based on your discussion and understanding what is missing in the global health in the Indian schools of public health or developing country schools of public health, Bangladesh schools of public health, in any other countries you're coming from. Look at the syllabus. And are they helping into becoming a global leader in global health? So this is the question you have to ask yourself. Thank you.
Okay. Please, everyone, please stay on mute and don't raise hands. We'll have a structured question and answer just after this, okay? Because we have few more questions to ask to Professor Thomas. We don't get hold of him every day, so I have to ask him all the questions that I have to ask. Okay. So the next question is, what role do journals like Critical Public Health play in shaping global narratives?
Okay. Probably I'm one of the few editor-in-chiefs from the Global South acting as editor-in-chief. So editor-in-chief comes with a lot of privileges. And some strategies, I don't know whether I could disclose it because of the commercial reason. I'll tell you one thing. I personally take special effort to promote scientists from the developing countries. What I do is, see, quite often the first time when you look at it, their paper may not be that quality assured. So normally what you do, you reject it. You don't see, for example, last year, I rejected about 800 paper. At the same time, I accepted about 1,300 papers. But I look at, I can see when a paper comes in, whether it is from a fresh graduate, a fresher from a developing, I can see from which country the affiliation, I can see it as editor-in-chief. I have the privilege to see who is submitting the paper. So what I do is I give them the first round and I send it to the peer review. Most of the peer reviewers, they do a fantastic job. And if the researcher is willing to address the concerns raised by the reviewers, and that will be a good paper to begin with. And instead of 2 reviewers, sometimes I send it to 4 people. So even a mediocre paper, reviewers give a good comment, it can be revised into a certain minimum quality. And when they accept, and when the authors, they redo that, most of them, they address the criticism coming from the reviewers. And it will come back to me, then I'll take a look at it, whether they addressed all the concerns raised by the reviewers. Even if they raised it, sometime I send it back to the author to revise it again. So I give additional opportunity for people to improve their paper. So this is one thing. I influence the agenda of this one. And the second thing is that I write editorially. That editorial, the recent editorial is about opportunities for global health in the crisis context. That's one of the latest editorial. Earlier, I looked at the issue of the need for disaggregated data. I hope you understand that all data you give it to gender breakdown, age breakdown. But according to SDG requirement, you should have at least minimum 8 variables as a disaggregated data. Your ethnicity, your income, like this, there are standardized SDG 17 goal partnership. Also, there are minimum disaggregated data as part of the data collection. You take a look at it, the important idea of disaggregation, because disaggregated data is important for understanding health equity and health inequity. This is more important from the point of view of developing countries. Most of the data in developing countries are not disaggregated only of 3 or 4 variables. Age, sex, normally or economic status, it stops there. It will not look at your ethnicity, it will not look at your marginalization, it will look at your vulnerability status. There are standardized 8 variables. So this is one of my editorial, and that editorial is being cited in many other papers. So intellectually I influence, by providing opportunity I influence, and also I mentor people and encourage them to write articles. So this is the way I encourage. And also I supervise PhD students to influence their writing and their thinking. Thank you.
You're a powerhouse. There is obviously no dearth of opportunities that the global South scholars should take from you. So I think I would be the first one to take, because I also consider myself an emerging researcher. So I would be probably the first to contact you. You know me personally for so many years, but I'll be a little less greedy here because we have more younger researchers than me. So let me go to the last question, but not the least, very important. What advice would you give to the emerging scholars entering the global health spaces in global South? Because as they look upon the current climate, what is happening in the world, war, conflict, lack of funding, this, that, everything, probably it sets a very pessimistic tone. So in this sort of scenario, what sort of practical advice would you give to them so that they can probably navigate their careers more effectively and maybe contribute something effectively to the global health space?
I'm not saying that I'm giving advice. I'm sharing some of my observations. Observation number 1, global health is about global transformation. Remember that global health is about transformation. Number 2, global health is about prevention. Number 3, global health is about addressing the health inequity. Global health is about the health and well-being of the excluded population. So that way, global health is a mission. It is not a career alone. So you have to build up into that passion about global health. So global health should be looked upon as a passion, as a calling. So this is my observation about it. Because if you're looking for a job, international assignment, it may give you an international assignment, it may give you an international job, but this is something beyond that. You are getting an opportunity for being part of a social transformation. But for that, you should build up your personal capacity, personal skills, your values, and also your understanding about global dynamics about it. And also your willingness to stand with the people who are excluded. If you're not willing to take up a position and stand, and you don't have much role in global health, that I would say very clearly on that, then you have to understand very clearly there are 2 broad streams of global health: biomedical models of global public health and the socio-ecological models of public health. And the key of socio-ecological models of public health is understanding social determinants of health. The understanding and unpacking social determinants of health. For example, disease and illness is created by social structures to large extent. The biomedical, biological, and also the genetic factors are quite often very limited variables. 60–70% of the variables which a person's disease and illness is related to is socially determined, ecologically determined. So this is social structurally determined, and understanding, you grasp it in your own social context, how the society is making you sick. So that should be your mission to understand. Thank you.
Definitely. Great, excellent insight, Joe. Since we don't have much time left, because we are waiting for the next panelist to join us. He's already ready to join us. I don't think we can actually get the audience to ask you, but there are lots of very interesting questions asked in the chat. Maybe one question I can read it out for you. Maybe you can respond to one of them. Will that be okay?
And also you can forward that question to me. I'll definitely answer. I may take some time. I definitely answer each and every question. Please feel free. And also, if you want to write to me directly, please do. And my WhatsApp and email and YouTube, all the channels, my communication channels are there. So please reach out. I'll definitely answer each and every question. It may take some time, but definitely I'll answer that. Please, next question. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Joe, at the moment we have more than 250 participants on call. I just wanted to update you on that. And one question I would read it out for you because I think it is important that you respond to it on call. And other questions we'll compile it for you and we'll send it to you. And they can also contact in case they are interested. So Martin Jed wants to ask you, I really love the suggestion Dr. Joe is asking us to look at. And my question is, could the WHO do a good follow-up if any countries from the global south emerge as global leaders in health? Especially since the American government found a lot of misappropriated funds into unwarranted sectors like terrorism and co. This is what he wants to ask. I'm not very sure what he means, but maybe you can, based on your experience in global health security and diplomacy, you can really shed light on it.
I'm not very sure I understood that. We are talking about a WHO misappropriating funds.
I think
and also the Southern leadership coming to the global health. Remember, the WHO Director General is from the Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And I know all other 5 candidates for the WHO election, except one, all from Global South. And I have seen very closely, I worked as a senior advisor to WHO on many projects. And I was I was the key advisor on setting up a gender equity and right unit in WHO. So that way I had an opportunity to work very closely with the financial resources, how it allocation. I will not say that WHO is misused the funding, but like any other organization, there may be certain people misbehaving or inappropriately behaving, or resources are being misutilized. But in general, systematic misappropriation, WHO, I don't think so. But the only difficulty is that WHO head office in Geneva got about 8,000 staff. Whether that staff should be in Geneva or the country office or regional office, that's an issue you need to look at it. Whether it's 8,000 people sit at Geneva or send them to regional office or country offices. So this may be an issue which you have to really take into consideration. This is my opinion. But at the same time, I'm not saying that they are not working hard, they are not important enough. But a practical issue, because the money is less. So what you do? Maybe you demobilize them, send them to country offices or regional offices. I know this is not a very palatable solution. There are many personal issues involved. But I'm just giving you one suggestion because this is a reality. WHO is going to cut large number of staff, but instead of that, they could be re-established or maybe reassigned.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the last question, because there are so many questions dropping in the chat right now. Just want to ask one question. Before that, after that, we will disperse. We'll have a break for 5 minutes, and then the next panel will start. In between, the attendance form will be dropped on YouTube as well as here in the chat. Okay, and you'll have only 10 minutes to fill the attendance form. You will not have more time. Please, Hazel, please, if you're on board, please make it ensure. Thank you. Okay, the last question is, how can we promote more national and global funding on health prevention and lead to policy advocacy on health prevention, promotion, intervention?
See, that you had to look at the health budget of the national governments. In most of the developing countries, the health budget is 2%. And the 2% is actually a zero investment because inflation and other expenses, 2% is negative. You're not investing anything new. So you have to advocate with your own governments, increasing the allocation for health. And the thumb rule is that it should be between 10 to 14% of the national budget should go to health. If I may use the example of India, India's health budget is approximately 2%. But I think Bangladesh is little more, about 3% of the national budget. So your own governments, you have to advocate, you have to look at first what percentage of the state budget, national budget is invested in public health or the health in its totality. And the idea of public health, public health and the clinical medicine, these are two different issues. Investment in prevention. Public health is about investment in prevention. And within this 3%, investment in prevention is 0.005. Because prevention, if you're not preventing diseases, you end up in paying heavily for your medical cost. So a shift in the global health towards prevention, a shift towards public health, a shift towards increased financing of the global health and public health. So this is my suggestion.
Okay. Any lasting parting words, Professor Joe Thomas, the eminent Professor Joe Thomas, because you have already said so much of valuable wisdom in the past 1.5 hours, but I just don't want to let you go. So I want to still hear some lines of wisdom so that our young participants here especially get benefited from your wisdom. Any parting thoughts?
I would say thank you. Thank you very much for being with me for this conference. And I'm sorry I didn't manage to reach out to you. And that's one of the limitations of this in the classroom. That's what I delighted to do on an engagement basis. Please do two things. Take my email ID and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please write to me. I promise I'll reply each and every question you're going to ask. And you can leave my email ID on your attendance list, please. And please send the email or the questions to me. And so this is what my parting message. And also, I'll be happy. I'll be happy to come back, and I'll be happy to part of your engagement. I mean, your whatever activities you do, I really appreciate, and I'll be quite happy to mentor some of you if you're looking for a mentor, and also technical support, and also to act as a co-traveler. Thank you very much.
Definitely, Joe. We definitely want a mentor, and I'll be in touch with you for that. But besides that, just to address, lots of people are asking for your phone number, email ID, etc., and LinkedIn ID. So that's something which we'll address. I'll definitely drop your email ID and phone number on the main group so that everyone can have it. First thing. Second thing is that we'll compile all the questions from the teams and we'll send it as a Word document to you, so that whenever you have time, please respond to us and we'll share it in the group so that everyone can learn from it, not just one individual.
Thank you.
That's all. And so I thank you so much, Professor Joe Thomas, for sharing the stage with us and sharing such valuable wisdom and experience that you have accumulated over the past 30 years from all over the world. And I don't want you to go, but unfortunately I have to, because the next panelist is just about to come on the stage. So we'll have 5 minutes break now, and we'll start exactly at 7:30. And thank you, Joe. If you wish to stay on board, you can stay on board and to listen to Dr. Surin Kumar. He is a health tech entrepreneur, an emerging researcher from Global South, from India, and he is contributing in a big way. And we are looking for people like him to change the way global health and public health is reimagined. So I'm sure you'll probably love to listen to some of his thoughts. If you are interested, please stay on board. And we'll have a 5 minutes break now so that you also get break and all participants get break. And we'll start exactly at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time.
And thank you for invitation, and I'll try to stay on. But the time-wise, it's past midnight now, so
I know.
So that's only concern. And anyway, I thank genuinely that this gave an opportunity to understand my own ideas about global health, and it gave me time to regularize and to systematize my own thinking. Thank you very much, and I hope to interact with you in future. I look forward to further opportunity. Thank you, Maheswar, and also thank you, Bangladesh.
What happened? Hazel, what happened? He dropped all of a sudden in between. Okay. Okay, because I was muted and then he was muted. So okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You please carry on. Yeah. Yeah. Just wait. Joe Thomas is back. Yeah. Please, Joe, please complete your statement. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was muted. That's it. I just said thank you very much, and thank you each and every one of you for being this session for a long session. And I hope to be part of you in future. And I hope to support you whichever way I can. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Sure. Thank you. Have a very great day. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yep. So how many minutes are you giving them? 10 minutes. No, give them 10 minutes. Let them fill the questionnaire, the attendance form. After 10 minutes, they will not be like just close the form. Yeah. Close the form so that nobody can even fill it. 10 मिनट में फिलअप करना है. हिंदी में बोल रहे हैं, भारतीय भाषा में.
Sir, just a query, I'm sorry. At the end of the form, it is asking to rate both the sessions. How to go about it, sir? Like the further next session is also it is asking.
Yeah, the next session is about to come, but we have deliberately put it in between two sessions so that people get time. Yeah, because end में सब लोग drop out हो जाते हैं, उससे अच्छा है कि अभी fill up करें. So just fill the form. Just हाँ जी.
There's a part where we have to write out our affiliation. What does that mean?
Affiliation means your institution, Varun. It's a very basic question. Okay, I have to go on loo break. Okay, because this is my 5 minutes time because I'll be moderating the next session. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. This is the break. So please feel free to fill the form. Okay. Your attendance form will be taken very seriously towards your certification purpose. So do not miss it for anything. So I request everyone to please fill up the form. The next session is also important. Okay. I know some of you have left the meeting now, but you will have to attend the second meeting as well. If you don't attend the second meeting, please note that it is also auto recorded. Your attendance is auto recorded on Microsoft Teams. We'll track that. we are being good to allow you to fill the attendance form just like this in the middle, but you should have done it at the end actually. Faisal, हमें end में करना चाहिए था इसको. चलो कोई नहीं, हो गया तो हो गया. So Dr. Surin, are you back? Are you on now?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I can't see you. I can't. Where are you?
Yes. Just a second.
Yeah, can you please come? Yeah.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Hi.
Good evening. Good evening. Where is the other person that you wanted to bring? Like, is he here as well?
I shared the YouTube link because Faisal informed me that this link is open only for registered participants.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about it. Okay. No worries. Yes, he can watch it on YouTube. Not an issue. Like we many of our participants are also attending online, on YouTube itself, because
Right,
like this MS team has limits. We had almost reached the limits today, almost 260 plus. So it has limit of 300 only. So
Oh, wow.
okay. We are ready for 300 plus 500, something like that on YouTube, because we have 800 plus participants registered. It's quite a huge.
Right. Right. Okay.
And from 100 countries. That's the interesting part.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's very extremely multicultural and diverse. So we are happy about that, because we are actually creating global impact. If you're listening to Dr. Thomas, he was actually saying that what we are doing is a real global impact. We are training our youngsters, emerging researchers from the global south, and we are preparing them for the next generation to take up the leadership. So that is what true global health leadership looks like. So I know it is beyond past like midnight in Australia. So still Dr. Joe Thomas is there. His ID is full. So maybe he will listen to some of your talk. Let's see. He's a very eminent expert. I hope you loved his talk. Like it's quite.
Yes, I was there on for the last hour. Very interesting conversation, and really grateful to hear and speak today. Yeah.
Anyone who wants to share any views, feedback, anything before we start because we'll start in next exactly 2 minutes. Parimala, are you still on board?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm on board. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you like the session? How was it?
Yeah, this session was wonderful. I just shared my experience. It was great and lot to learn. So wonderful session.
Yeah, we will be inviting world leading experts, not just professors or some people. We'll be inviting world leading experts in this area. The participants will greatly benefit from this. So they should take more interest and all that. But what happens now? Like when we are young, we don't know what to value truly. So that is one of the problems of age. So when we're young, we really don't know what to value. So we value something else. So that is one of the challenges also. But anyways, I'm very happy with the engagement, quality of engagement. If you have been reading the charts, like the kind of questions, the engagement. So we shouldn't be going by the quantity of people also. We should be looking at the nature of engagement, everything. Sajjad wants to ask something. Sajjad, please come, unmute yourself and ask. But be quick because we are starting right now. You don't want to ask anything? Okay, chalo, theek hai, badhiya. Okay, so Faisal, are you here? Yes. 8:10 means how many more minutes in Indian time? 4 more minutes. Okay, give them 5 minutes, and if nobody fills up, then close the call. We have to be a bit little strict, otherwise people always take advantage of our goodness. So welcome everyone. So we had a terrific panel with Professor Joe Thomas. So nothing sort of exemplary and insightful. And now we are all geared to listen to somebody else who is an exemplar and an emerging talent in the arena of global health and health tech. So let me introduce quickly Dr. Surin Kumar. He is the founder of Health Health Tech Solution, and he's also co-founder of Thyroid Innovations. The co-founder of Thyroid Innovations is watching us on YouTube. So hi, uh, online virtual hi. So Surin is a passionate health tech innovation leader. Through 7 years of academic and 5 years of professional experience across clinical care, public health administration, hospital operations, and international healthcare, he has developed a diverse skill set that has got him to understand the essence of social impact entrepreneurs. One thing that actually struck me about Suren Kumar since I know him for past few months is that he's very, very humble and always ready to take action. Always ready to engage, talk to people, get on board, do something about something. He's the founder of Public Health Foundation, Public Health Community of India, PSCI, and uh, I think what he's doing is really very interesting, and I'm very happy to support him and help him in whatever capacity he will give me in the future. But at the moment, I'm very happy that such young entrepreneurs are emerging. They are contributing to the growth of public health spaces, global health spaces. So all that I'm looking for is that these people will actually play a vital and instrumental role in reshaping and reimagining the public health sector overall in India and in LMICs. So as a result of the driven health tech leader, he brings strong foundation in both health as well as business knowledge with a focus on advancing the quality of public healthcare services through the combined power of community participation and artificial intelligence. Those who are artificial intelligence AI enthusiasts, I am sure you will find his talk very illuminating and interesting. So looking forward to the bright panel by him. So we started a little bit late because the exciting panel that we had just before, we didn't really feel like leaving. Look at the kind of participation and the comments in the chat. Nobody really wanted to leave Professor Joe Thomas. I mean, like literally, it is midnight in Australia, and he was talking to us. Think about it. Think about the dedication and commitment that we senior people have just to help you people. Okay, so we are all here to support you. Please stay on mute. Please stay on mute, all of you. Yeah, panel is ongoing and recording is going on. So please stay on mute at all times. Okay, until you are asked to speak. Thank you. So now I hand over the mic to Dr. Suren Kumar to give an illuminating talk about his organization, the kind of things he is doing in the health tech sector, and probably he'll be able to inspire many of you to maybe enter into the field and contribute something to empowering and improving healthcare in LMICs. That's all from my side. Dr. Suren Kumar, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Maheswar. Thank you a lot for the Bangladesh Institute of Health Research to invite me on this panel. So I'll just start by sharing my screen. I've created a short presentation, hopefully not too much information.
Sure.
Please remain on mute. The speaker is about to start. Okay. You will be able to ask questions at the end. Please remain mute. Otherwise, we'll have to remove you from the group.
Can you hear me, sir, clearly?
Yes, I can hear you all right. Yeah, please start.
Okay, is the screen clearly visible?
Yes, it's visible, but maybe make it full screen. If it's, yeah, now it's perfect. Yeah, please start.
Right. Okay. So good evening, one and all. So this conversation is going to be about health tech entrepreneurship. We are looking at the intersection of collaboration and success. So how does collaboration lead to success in a health tech organization? To start with this, I think with entrepreneurship, it all starts with one's life journey. And with that, I'll start with what my journey is from my academics. I've started with a bachelor's in dental surgery. This is way back in 2013, and I completed it in 2018. So on the left side of your screen, at the bottom half, you can be able to see that I'm a registered dentist within the state of one of the states in India. And also, I have worked with the Indian Dental Association on various projects. And apart from this, I've also been clinically available to be working with different successful dentists and designing out administrative positions in the clinical space. So this is for altogether 2-year period. Although my journey took me a very different stance during COVID, I pivoted towards the public health sector. As you can see, in 2020, as working with one of the municipalities in India. We were drafted as public health medical officers. And here we were looking to do public health surveillance for COVID, containment, and also the entire campaigning as well as promotion of healthcare. 2021, we moved towards this vaccination, successfully vaccinated close to around 50,000 people. We had under our care more than 1 lakh of people. And this was a pivoting moment for me in my career in terms of healthcare administration and leadership, and also understanding the Indian healthcare system at a large scale. I quickly went down to Australia. This was delayed from 2020 when I got my admissions, but 2022 is when I got my admissions in Deakin University, and finally were allowed to enter the country for my master's in public health. Now, coming to a global platform, this was a pivoting moment again. A lot of different experiences, learning about global health leadership, experimenting with various kinds of activity clubs, and also the larger community in Australia. I was very, very lucky to be involved in some of the very interesting business opportunities in Australia at a global level. And from there, started my entrepreneurial journey. So 2022, when I was looking to start my entrepreneurial journey, it was in the field of mixed reality for medical education. Also, yes, when you hear about mixed reality, this is a very, very different sector, and education tech is very different from what you would think about health tech. 23, I came down to India, and I started working with one of the eminent hospitals based in Bombay. This is Just Loc Hospital. And here I was working in one of the top offices in the CEO's office, and we are working with healthcare, IT, data analytics, general administration, operations, and all the CSR efforts that we could ensure to do. Here, I think my entire journey towards entrepreneurship pivoted in understanding the healthcare system and how to solve the challenges, which is so complex. And I'm very lucky to be taken on by the chairman of the hospital and one of his family offices, which were looking after international healthcare in West Africa as well as in India. And this is part of the Chandrarai Group, very successful family business since the last 150 years. Here, this was a moment where I realized the need for international collaborations and also in-country efforts to solve challenges that may not be visible to everyone, but make a very big difference once solved. So came 24 when I joined, I think I started really upgrading my LinkedIn page. That's when I, started networking with a lot of people. 24 is when I developed the Public Health Community India, which is now known as Health Rights Community India. This was a community of purely public health professionals from various sectors all across India. We had a panel of close to 500-600 people. had a lot of conversations with digital startups, wanted to pivot towards the health tech space, bringing digital health solutions to the grassroots levels. This was key in really ensuring that health tech is no more about building for corporate spaces. It is no more about building for innovations that India or any part of the developing world needs. It's about bringing in innovation that really solves the challenges the communities are facing. One of the founders of one of the digital startups that I spoke to in 24 is Thyroid in Innovations, and this is Dr. Sudeshna. And I think we hit it off right in the beginning, and we quickly started working together, and I started co-founding Thyroid Innovations in Feb 24, bringing in my successful entry into the health tech field. Very, very grateful to her to give me that opportunity at that start. And apart from building health tech, I was working with the Chandrai Group. So this was a full-time effort. And when they say entrepreneurship is not easy, absolutely it is not, because of the number of hours you really put into it. But it does not need to lead to a burnout. It is about balancing efforts in collaboration with people. And you would see it's a journey which is so smooth in the last 1 year. We are now co-founding Thyroid, and now we have started another startup known as Healthrytics. It's been a journey which has been transformational, and I'll talk more about it in the coming slides. Right. So what are we going to be talking about today is 3 sections. One is in the introduction, the collaboration strategies, and the conclusion. In the introduction, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what our topic is and how health tech is multidisciplinary and what is essential for multidisciplinary teams. In collaboration strategies, we're going to look at how we build your initial team, that is your co-founder. There needs to be a chemistry, and there needs to be health advisory, there needs to be strategic industry partners, and more importantly, the academia and startups which are part of the industry. Yes, money raises everything, but it's not all it is. And finally, the cherry on the top, which is the success mantra. So what does health tech multidisciplinary teams look like? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're not in the health tech room, or you have hired poorly. Okay. So in health tech, we have doctors. They are the ones who validate the problem for us. We have engineers who build the solution for us. We have marketers to reach the users, and finally the policy experts to ensure compliance. Without the 4 foundational blocks, health tech is not about health tech. It's probably about bringing a solution that is whitewashed an idea. It's no more innovation. Now, how do you build a team which is very essentially driving a force which is the world has never seen, right? It's innovation altogether. So trust is the real currency here. Build relationships before you need them. Even before you see you would need that relationship, ask yourself, would this relationship be helpful to me in the future? And you have your answer, right? So why? Because it'll establish trust, it'll establish credibility, and it'll always come back to you in the future. Your future self will thank you that you had this relationship to look at. Now, who do you build relationships with? It can be anyone, right? It can be doctors, researchers, tech investors, angel investors, regulatory, and also policy experts. It may be from various other fields like we're doing in Healthrytics. I'll talk more about that in the coming time. But at the end of the day, like I said, you ask yourself whether you really see any potential value in this relationship, and what you can also contribute matters a lot. It is not all about the person who you are trying to build a relationship with. It's about you as a person as well. So how do you build this relationship? You proactively attend. You attend conferences, you attend meetings, you attend panel discussions, engage patiently. And this is very important, being patient with people. Relationships can be complicated. And in the space of health tech and business, especially very, very complex. So you need to be patient, you need to be approachable. And of course, you need to offer the value to the person that you're contributing this, building this relationship with. Because without value, without mutual benefit, you're not going to be able to build any relationship. Finally, follow up regularly. Without regular follow-ups, an idea remains an idea, and 90% of them will never see the face of Earth. Now, once you meet a co-founder, right, it is very essential, and this is a conversation we have had a lot in one of the national institutes here in India. How does co-founder chemistry work, and what does it require to build that? Some people came up with survey forms, about 150 questions, like survey style questions, asking your co-founder whether you, how do you live your life? What are your values, ambitions in life? It can be anything. But trust me, it does not start with 150 questions. It all starts with what do you see in the person, right? Don't just look for the skill. You should look for shared value. If you're looking for a skill, there will be hundreds of them. You'll never be able to get the right person. But if you're sharing the shared value and alignment of vision, is very, very important. Apart from that, distinct strengths, complementary visions. This is also very important. Why? Because you might meet so many of them who are interesting personalities, but the same academic background. How do you differentiate whether you need the same person again? Are you co-founding it with someone else again? Like my co-founder and me, we share the same academic background, probably the same number of years of experience, but we're distinct in our strengths. We're distinct in how we see our visions. We have one vision, but we know there are so many roads that we can take, and we're able to converge with them and take them together. So here I'll give you a bit of philosophy, not my own. I'll talk about a bit of world philosophy that converts into what co-founder chemistry is. So I'll start with Stoicism. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And it's very important to understand how you coexist with people. Shared resilience fueled by a constructive quality of thought. This keeps you positive, keeps you adaptable, and that takes you to pragmatism, where intelligence is an instrument for dealing effectively with novel situations. Without intelligence, without using your intelligence in novel situations and the adaptability of it, you're not going to be able to innovate in a space that is the most complex in the world. It's health tech. Health tech is as complicated as probably, removing a few engine parts from a rocket. It is not rocket science, but yes, it is close to it. So intellectual agility and the ability to adapt is essential in this field. And now taking the solution forward, how do you exist in the world? And existentialism tells you about what matters is not the best way it's not the best way to sell oneself, but to have something to sell. You need to sell something, not yourself. Because tomorrow, when you build a product that demonstrates improves people's life, it is able to improve people's lives rather than just slick marketing. That's when you are able to do ethical health technology, innovation, and adaptability, right? So you need to be existing for the people, and that's about how you sell a product. If you think marketing is going to solve your challenges in healthcare, think again. 85% of marketers in India or around the world do not understand how to market healthcare. It's the most difficult field to market. Finally, it's about humanism. Health tech also understands, okay, what is the best way to find yourself? Find yourself is to lose yourself and in the service of others. How do you find yourself in the service of others? That's the first question you're going to ask yourself. If you want to build something which you feel you're ambitious about, it's your pet project, you've been thinking about it for the last 5 years, no, it's not going to be possible to build it, because people are only going to come back with you if you think about it in terms of what other people are thinking about, in terms about what other people require. And that requires a strong sense of purpose that transcends the individual ambition, right? Now, moving on to what does it look like to build a collaborative team in health tech? Build a health advisory panel early. This is what I started the conversation with, and this is the most important aspect, which I felt I had started in my health tech journey is right from the beginning, is to build an advisory panel. A strong advisory panel can be from clinical practitioners to technology experts to health policy professionals and also various other health tech entrepreneurs. Very important. You may think they are your competitors, they are the ones who are trying to steal your idea. No, trust me not. This is a place where if you collaborate, you're building solutions more effectively and for the people that can come together. And that's what we're doing at Health Therapeutics. Out of all the TEL solutions that we are giving you, it is about collaborated partnerships with health tech entrepreneurs. There might be hundreds of solutions for health tech in the country, around the world. But when you come together and you build effectively an ecosystem, which is a digital health ecosystem, you're then being able to serve a lot more people. And the idea is as large as, we may talk about the World Health Organization, you may talk about national health structures, but in a private space, this idea is as large as that. That's what we're doing at Health Therapeutics. So, and start small. Even an informal board adds credibility and clear direction. It might not be a very formal
You have 5
board.
more minutes.
Yes, sir. So it might not be a very formal board, but it'll add credibility in the future. Yes, strategic industry partners, that also takes you forward. Local hospital chains, government bodies, non-profit organizations. And your solution might not be something that even you have a product, hardware product to sell. It might be something like an app that you're putting up on the App Store. And you may think, why are these collaborations required? You will see the need for it very soon. Government bodies and non-profit organizations can make a lot of difference in how you strategize and how you market your app forward. So always pilot your ideas with them, validate them with them, co-create and then you're able to scale. Without co-creation, you'll never be able to scale this idea. Academy and startups, again, very important. Academia can give you the research you require for both AI and ML, because since we are heavily tech related, so artificial intelligence, machine learning capabilities, the best of the people, the postdoctorate students, you would get only in the academic institutions. And the startups out there, they have the best of knowledge. They're building world-class technology. So other startups for plug and play integrations. You can integrate with a lot of startups. A lot of startups can integrate with you, and you can build ecosystems that are really taking things forward. Finally, the fundraising part of it. Fundraising through collaboration means successful real-world pilots, strategic MOUs with key partners, and expert endorsements. This brings you impact. This brings you market industry traction, and also validates your innovation and credibility. Okay, so I'll take a minute here. This is an example of what it looks like innovation in existing systems. If you're working with a hospital, start by solving a small workflow pain point. Never pitch a full product on day one. You take a problem, you take a sector, whichever sector, maybe a hospital, non-profit, or government, find one small pain point. You're going to bring a product for them. You have a beautiful product at in your company, but never pitch the full idea. Always start with a small workflow pain point. So the system, analyze and ideate. I did this in my corporate hospital healthcare sector. I did this in my non-profit sector. I always under the system before I could go down to the need, the workflows, the stakeholders involved, the data, whether you can actually create an impact there. And the need will show you what the pain points are, the frustrations are, the inefficiencies are. Now you have a pain point. The opportunity to brainstorm, the opportunity to focused approach on the specific pain point in collaboration. Collaboration is in the central key point of it. And finally, the action, which is the approvals. Approvals are much more easier if it's a smaller defined solution. And then you stack them up one together and you build a solution which is fantastic. So the conclusion is learn, share, adapt, and scale. Without learning first, without sharing your ideas, without building trust, you're not going to be adapting and scaling to the system. Health tech is very heavily regulated. It's a fast and changing industry. You may have an idea today and 6 months later, someone already has it. The idea I had 3 years earlier, someone in India is already doing it. The idea I have today, I'm sure someone's going to take it up in the next 5 years. So this was my journey in the last 5 years. And finally, I'll just leave you with the success mantra, which is of today's presentation. Collaboration isn't optional. It is your very foundation, from co-founders to the hospitals. Build with the people, not for people. Industry here in most developing countries always builds first and then asks the doctors whether you want the solution. Obviously, the doctors are going to say no, right? And where the successful part of innovation starts with is asking first the doctors, the allied health workers, whether you need a solution. What is the solution that you need? What would this kind of a solution make a difference to you? And if you're building health tech today, make your first partnership. Don't start with your product. Start with your partnership. Thank you.
Okay, great. Excellent. Wonderful talk. I'm sure the participants enjoyed as much as I did. I mean, you didn't give me this beautiful presentation, Suren. I would have been like
Yes.
flat if I had seen this presentation before. Yeah. See, this is such a beautiful presentation. So this is what I like. I'm not so tech savvy as you, right? I told you this. So, but beautiful presentation. Definitely a lot of knowledge. This is practical wisdom, which our young generation needs to learn. Because many times, during our time when we were in 20s, we never had such things. Like now you guys have everything, so make the best use of it, connect with each other, collaborate with each other. This whole training program, which is bringing more than 100 country participants, is basically aiming at bringing together people and train them how to collaborate strategically and effectively, practically, not on a theoretical level, practically train them how to do it, by doing it. So you collaborate only by doing it, right? You can't be collaborating on a theoretical textbook level. That's simply not possible. So now we'll switch gear quickly, because we have a tutors meeting starting at 8:30. We are running very late. So we have like this thing I'm telling you, Suren, we have been working up to throughout the night nowadays, literally, this training program, since it has started, the whole global team is working 24/7, literally, on, because coordinating and managing things, 25 groups. Think about 25 working groups. Running them is not easy, and n number of queries and repetitive queries. The same thing, by the way. Same thing they keep on asking several times in different ways, and you still have to be patient and respond to that. And that is the beauty and also the enigma of collaboration. So that's something which we have to also be practicing mindfully, just like a Buddhist monk. The way they follow it very peacefully and patiently and humbly, we have to do that. So we are practicing Jain Buddhism nowadays. Every time we feel a little bit of anxiety, then we take deep breath and we start asking, why are we doing this? We are doing this because we want to help our youngsters. So let's be more patient, let's be more humble, let's be empathetic, let's try to understand why they are getting anxious. They're asking so many questions. So okay, let's try to answer them, as much as possible. I'm moderating the session and they're asking me questions on WhatsApp. I have to still respond to that. I'm sure you must be facing that as an industry leader. You must be getting lots and lots of questions from different sites, and you must be still answering them, corresponding, coordinating. I think that is the beauty of existing in collectivity, because you get to learn how to coexist with each other and co-create, co-produce things. And that's simply not possible without coordinating and communicating constantly with each other, right? Okay, so let's quickly go into the panel. So I'd have what do they call in, what is that, Karan Johar's language? That what he does know, I forgot that term also. Okay,
Yeah, I think it's
so
coffee
I'm good.
with Karan. Yeah.
Coffee with Karan, he asks lots of questions, no? He fires questions at you. Okay, so let me ask questions, and I'm sure you are well prepared. You are an industry leader. So question number one, what inspired your entry into health tech entrepreneurship? What was that eureka moment which led you to think that you are actually someone who should play a role in this, and you are someone who can actually do it?
I think this started very early. For most people, it starts at a time when they are educated in college, and maybe after they start into their corporate workspace and they see a lot of challenges that they feel they can solve. For me, it started at a very pivotal moment in my childhood. I think during my, as very innovative as a child, as to always break things apart, try to put those things back together. And that was important, right? Not just breaking things apart. So I think in my secondary school, I started this project, which one of my teachers, I think, forced me. She told me, build a solution, not just build a project, rather, which we want to exhibit, but build a project which is absolutely from scratch. Because most people just come out with some off-the-shelf solutions, put them together, and show it as a product, as an exhibition. So we were building for a science exhibition. And I was lucky enough to have this innovation book with me and some of those equipment to build with. So I just picked one solution, put them together, and I literally built with foil paper and plastic at that time. And I think that was, I sat on the entire night. It was just the day before the exhibition, sat an entire night went for that exhibition, and it was working just fine right up till the principal came. And just when she was coming in, just 2 minutes before, she looked at me and she's like, "Your solution is ready, right?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I was trying it out and it failed. And when she came in, she said, "Okay, what's the solution? Looks pretty rugged. What does this mean?" So I said, "Ma'am, it's a box with a pen inside it, but it's supposed to do something wonderful. It's supposed to generate electricity." And she said, "Oh, really? Show me how does it do that?" And I tried it out and it didn't work. And I requested her for about a minute or two and quickly, went under the box, tried to figure something out. And it worked. And it was actually a trick at the back end. Of course, it was not generating electricity, as you say, but it was just a trick at the back end how it works. And I never thought that this would, come out to be one of the best projects in the school. When the results came out, I received the first prize, and that was like a pivotal change for me to tell me that, you might build a solution that looks absolutely stupid to you, but sometimes it might just bring you one step ahead where people never even thought about it, and that is innovation. So for health tech, my journey started with really trying to solve the challenge of education in medical industry. This was with mixed reality headsets. What Meta and what Apple does today, we wanted to create that for within India, innovate within India. Also, the technological constraints restricted us. But I didn't stop there. I did what is best in my field is public health, and I started with public health as an idea, and that's where I am today. Yes.
Why did you come into public health? What brought you into public health?
So again, like I mentioned about COVID, was a pivotal side for me to move towards public health. It was not actually COVID. It was much before COVID, during my initial years of training in the for my dental course. And here I knew for a very early start that I was not going to do dentistry. I wanted to go into maxillofacial surgeries and do onco surgeries, specifically in oral cancers. And that was my passion for the longest time. Now, when we saw the problem of oral cancers, we saw that this is one of the cancers that has not been addressed in many parts of India. There are so many cases that are coming up every day, but we still don't hear about oral cancer being a major problem until those ads came up on TV. But you see, today, when we see the number of people who are getting operated, uh, they just have 5 to 10 years to survive because they're coming at a stage where they have no chance to, further, live. And that's what the solution is: surgery. And surgery is not going to get you a long life. It's only going to solve a problem for a certain time. So that was a pivotal moment, seeing surgically the problem, as well as also understanding why are people not, realizing the problems beforehand. You might use tobacco, chew tobacco, that's a different point. But are you not understanding that you have a disease that you need to solve at an early stage? And the signs are very clear right from the early beginnings of oral cancer. And today, a lot of doctors are trained to note those signs. AI is also trained to do that. So that's when I started attending a lot of public health camps, organizing them. I became the public health head in my college, organized a lot of camps with contacts with Rotaries and NGOs. We did camps even in prisons. And we saw the kind of problems and unaddressed, problems in the lowest classes of society. And I saw that, okay, everything leads to the field of public health. But there was one problem. I never loved reading books. I despised reading books. And I was asked this question, okay, if you want to become a researcher, you're going to read a lot. And that was my only drawback in like choosing my public health course. But then I said, at the end of the day, doing a degree, you need to read a book, you need to do your exams, and your exams are never going to end. They're going to be textual, they're going to be verbal, and they're going to be life experiences that you need to, do your interviews and examination in. So I just went for it, and I said, what come may, I will do it, finish off my degree, and then see what the next step is. But COVID was definitely the pivoting role, really seeing on ground what changes you can do in the community with just as an humble person, trying to bring people together and solve a larger community challenge. So yes, that's my entry point, public health.
Definitely, great. It's wonderful to learn about your life story. I'm sure our participants watching us here on MS Team as well as on YouTube Live would be enjoying listening to your beautiful evolution. So if I may ask, like, how important do you think is collaboration, critical strategic collaboration in scaling a health tech venture? Because you are yourself starting a health tech venture. So what role do you think collaboration plays?
I think success in health tech or any entrepreneurship or any business starts with the very fact that how many people were you able to drive together to work on the solution. You might have the world's best idea, you might come up with a product that's amazing, but they say that 93% of startups fail. The only reason because they could not work with their team the right way. When you ask a failed entrepreneur the question, why did you leave that team? And they say, oh, the partner had this problem, we could not work in this way, communication was an issue. And I always ask this question again, was it the partner or was it you? And some of them are dumbstruck, but I think some of them honestly answer, yes, I found there was a pivoting moment for me and I realized that I need to move on. So I took that on from very early start, and I realized the need for community building is much more powerful than you yourself coming up with these great ideas. Like in my initial venture, I did not speak to so many people. When I started speaking to few people, I realized the failing points, and I said, okay, maybe this is not a good start. This is not the right year to start. And that's when 2024, when I started networking, that was the moment of change for me. I spoke to everyone about the idea. I did not have any conscious effort that, okay, I should hide my idea and think about it in the sense of, you're protecting your intellectual property. No, it's not like that. Your IP rights come 2 years, 3 years after your startup even starts off. So, and that by then your idea is already pivoted. So yeah, you must talk about your ideas and see how well you can develop them further. But at the same time, when collaboration happens, you have a lot of challenging moments where you may feel discouraged. People telling you that it's a negative thought, you might not do well. These are the different things that could fail, and there's always challenges. But realize that 90% of the times, those challenges must be taken with a good spirit to solve them anyhow. Again, through collaboration, again, through partnerships. The more people you know, the better further you get further in business. It's never the other way around.
Yeah, definitely, I agree, completely agree. But one thing which struck me, like which I was telling you, that people hide their ideas. They think like people steal their ideas, but they actually don't understand often enough that when we say the ideas grow, the ideas actually don't get stunted. That's something which more and more people need to realize. But because I see that Delhi in academia, Delhi inside industries, and people are basically getting too insecure about what they are doing, what ideas they have. But the way I operate is like, let people come, let people know what I'm doing. Like for example, our global consortium, 1,000+ members have joined in the past 4 months alone, and from all over the world, literally. And they keep on asking thousands of questions to me on all platforms. I keep on answering them as much as I can, and I never fear that somebody will steal my idea and will do something. Okay, let them do, even if they want to. That will not harm me, because I'm doing something which I know with a lot of forethought and foresight. And people who have truly genuine connections and they're looking forward to make an impact, they will connect and they will play a role and they will keep on working with me. So we are co-travelers, right? So we can travel the whole life. We don't have to think like, okay, somebody will come and will steal our ideas and we'll go away somewhere. No, we don't have to operate with that archaic insecurities. We have to let go of those. There comes a point when we have to, right? I hope you agree. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's go to the third question that I have in mind and I had set up for you, because you are someone who is playing a major role, and I'm very hopeful that you will actually change and help us reimagine public health sector in India. So what challenges do you think the startups face in healthcare, especially in health tech industry, and how can they be solved collaboratively?
I think the challenges are several. Although I think the major challenges, if you filter out a lot of them that just needs collaboration, the major challenges are in terms of data. And data is something that is not something that humans can do together in the sense of, if you speak to more people, your data will be better. It's about really trying to being the data availability, the operability should be perfect enough for your AI to work and then, have a successful product to come forward. So how does collaboration solve data challenges? That is a very big key conversation that I've been having for a very long time. Of course, the world has also been talking about this a very long in many other platforms. You see, I think when it comes to data, it's about the quality. It's about how ethically you get those data and how clean are those data. Because if it is not de-identified, if it is not cleaned, if it's not diverse in geography, your data is just restricted to a certain area and your product is only going to be able to scale to that certain market. So I think the very start point is this, that how do you bring ethically and constructive data, which is diverse, but at the same time, the quality is so good that your product is just going to be phenomenal. Because the idea might be so great, but your AI will fail you when you take the product out there. So yes, I think data is the main challenge, and collaboration again with, like I mentioned, my presentation, academia, with other startups, understanding the challenges they've already seen there, bringing that forward and trying to solve that. That is, I think, key. So collaboration is absolutely necessary.
Definitely. Completely agree with that. So if you have to identify one biggest blind spot in the health tech innovation space today, what will that be?
So I can talk with 2 points of view. One is in the developing world, and then another one is also globally. And I think eventually both the points will converge. So in the developing world, what we see is the availability to develop data sets. Because when you think about data sets, how most AI startups start off, they build off sets from Kaggle or build off sets from GitHub, and try to collaborate with some off-the-shelf data sets. And they train their AIs and they have their initial successful and POC model ready, and they try to scale up with funds. But when you're trying to build something as innovative, what we're doing in thyroid is trying to build thyroid diseased data sets. Does not exist. And that too thermal imaging based data sets. No one has even seen thermal cameras in the medical industry in Asia, if you could say. It's mostly used in the States. And then combining that with AI. So your data sets have to be built from scratch. We have built one of the largest data sets in India in the thermal space for thyroid disease. And it's about close to 5,000, 6,000 data sets. Not good enough, but it is bigger than any other study out there if you look into thermal based thyroid disease detection. So building that data set was absolutely challenging. We were very lucky to have the first key partners. Although our data set is not very diverse. And now going into diversity, I think the collaboration has helped us a lot, speaking to a lot more people out there in South as well as in the North, and bringing people together and understanding where we need to really develop good quality data sets. And the developing country, you might think of it the other way around. In the developed countries, you might think of the other way around. Yes, they have integrated universal healthcare systems. They have like the NHS system in the UK, beautifully built with all digital data available there. But the challenges again comes to how are you going to extract that data from the NHS system? If you're an Indian startup or any global startup, you want to build with the NHS, you're going to find it absolutely difficult to extract data from them. And they're so heavily regulated. They have several certain key points, but it all starts with collaboration again. When you go down to the NHS and you speak to them, they'll first ask you, how many people have you surveyed in the NHS and you've seen the pain points they are having before you even talk to the patient. They're not going to let you talk to any patients, of course. But if you spoke to the clinician, have you spoke to the nurses, have you spoke to the allied health workers, seen the key points they're facing with data operability? Have you been able to solve that? Then we'll give you whatever data set you want. But if it doesn't start there and you go and say, okay, I've written an application, I want like 1,000 data sets, I will come in every day and take my data from you. No one's going to open their doors to you. So at the end of the day, it's about how ethically you can develop the data, diverse ethical data, and getting down to working with the on-ground people first, understanding why are you collecting data to solve this challenge. Is it for you that you're trying to solve the challenge, or are you trying to solve it for the NHS or for any other system in the world? So the biggest blind spot, I think, is here, where interoperability of data is very, very difficult. You might get data by yourself, train your AI models, and it'll absolutely fail in public health. Like they say, a 95% accurate model, which is ready for the market, will be 80 to 75% accurate in the field. That's how AI in public health works, because it's all about then how does your staff use that machine? How does your staff understand that AI, right? And that's where the critical chances of failure are. And if you did not have those critical conversations before, then your product is not going to work in the field. Yeah. So
I was at IAC day before yesterday. In fact, at the computer science center. AI. So we were talking about several models used real life applications, and the highest efficacy and accuracy they have as of now is about 60+%, not 70 even. So that's the level we are operating right now at one of the world's top AI-based research centers, which operates with all top industries, by the way. So that's kind of situation that we are having. So let's go quickly to the next question. You talked about briefly how academia and entrepreneurs, they need to come together. But what strategies actually, because we have been talking about PPP for a very long time and how academia and industry can work together. But what strategies do you think they need to adapt so that effective and more productive more engaging form of collaboration can happen? Because many times what happens is some party remains like in obsolete form. They take the like back end seat. They don't often engage. They initially begin very well, but after a period of time they sort of take the back seat. Not much interest is shown. There is a little bit of apathy, inertia, lethargy. So what sort of strategies should they adopt to make it effective?
absolutely, I think that's a very critical key point. We all talk about collaboration, we all talk about having global consortiums, but how does the strategical output really work? What I do in my community is we have a lot of conversations, we have a lot of bi-monthly conversations, sometimes even weekly conversations, but I always look for what are the challenges and how we can solve them. The end key result out of that is creating those micro groups and seeing if those solutions could be solved in the next 1 month. If you're not able to, that entire conversation of 1 hour was of to waste, right? So if you're going to give value to people, you're going to give value in the sense of really driving a solution to that challenge or innovation for that challenge. So it starts there. I think when you think about academia, you think about the people who are the experts. There is another very major challenge is that they're very laser focused on their academic pursuit, and they have the best of knowledge in the field. But when you come to innovation, you come to startups, you can't be the smartest person in the room. You have to work with other people. And I think a lot of life lessons from Australia, maybe from other worldly experiences, have taught me that your communication with people who are not from your field is critical key. If you cannot move past your field and have a conversation with someone else and have a combination of ideas, you're not innovating in any space. So that's absolutely to the point. If you're able to communicate effectively, keep your ideas out there. Never think of your ideas are much lesser than maybe a rocket scientist, but have those conversations. Like at HealthRytics, we are talking to policy experts, we are talking to people from the international relationships, geopolitical experts, we're talking to people from the government, from the armed forces, whole lot of sectors. It's not only about healthcare. It's about understanding healthcare from all pivotal roles, all certain aspects of how we can deliver the best public health infrastructure. Yes.
Okay, great, excellent. So linked to that, there's another important question. So maybe that will be a takeaway for all our young participants here. So what critical skills should young professionals develop to succeed in this space? So please be brief, just 2 skills, because we have few more questions to go, and we have to end at like 8:35 max.
I would say it all starts with the first skill of being proactive. This is a skill which I feel I have lacked in, proactivity, because your tenacity is only going to drive you and the team behind you and the entire solution and company forward. Without that tenacity, you're not going to even actually see what was in your mind in front of you. So yeah, one is tenacity. The second one is about I would say trust, because any key relationship, if you're not yourself trustworthy, the person in front of you is going to see that and he's going to walk out. So tenacity and trust, if you bring this to the table, you can join hands with the biggest of people on the top of the highest offices there in the country and the world, and you can do really wonderful things.
Okay, great. So can you share an impactful collaboration that shaped and left an indelible impact on your journey so far? Please be quick though. Yeah.
Yes, I think the first one started with COVID, the one which I collaborated with the community, but more importantly, I collaborated with every stakeholder out there, and driving in innovative thinking, and bridging the gaps where I realized why was private sector not doing enough for the public health sector, when the public health sector of course had the majority of the supply chains, but the private sector also had the money to push those supply chains, and that too free of cost. So this is one pivotal moment where I joined hands with the private sector, brought in vaccinations to the public, and we gave out 1,000 vaccinations in a day, all for free, in coordination with other stakeholders. So that's one. And the second one would be towards, in my professional journey, what I've learned is always see the key innovative ideas. And you see those key innovative ideas, you want to solve them, you have that in your blood to solve them. But it'll never be, necessary that the person in front of you who's sitting on top, on one of the top offices saying that, okay, yes, go ahead, because he's already seen that problem. He knows it can't be solved right now, and he doesn't have the time and effort to solve it right now. So never feel discouraged. Keep those ideas and stack them upon ideas throughout your life's journey, and you will see that those ideas will come back to you in the field of innovation. And if you pursue entrepreneurship, you have a beautiful thought to take forward. Yes.
Okay, I have like a power-packed set of questions for you, but I'm feeling very guilty that I'm not giving you enough time. But
Right.
you're actually like full on energy right now. Like you're responding to them as if like somebody already gave you the question paper before. So how
Right.
do you balance innovation with ethics and sustainability? Because this is quite a tricky thing, don't you think? When we talk about
Absolutely.
ethics, innovation, sustainability, all these things. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think when you think about ethics, and specifically in terms of health tech innovation, it comes down to how do you derive your data, and then two is how do you use your data. Now, fine, you do it ethically, you get through proper approved trials, ethical committee trials, and you go ahead and select your data sets, you do your training, you do your pilots, you even get it approved by the highest regulatory bodies out there. But trust me, not every regulatory body has even more conditions and more requirements. So if you're going to have a way to work, create a framework right from the beginning of how you're going to use the data. And tomorrow, when that data is a product, how are you going to utilize it? If you're going to start just for the sake of building money and building wealth, you're going to sell it to the most unethical sense of way of utilizing the data, you have failed the very start of why you built the solution. So always think about how you get your data first, and then to how you're going to use it later on. Start from the beginning, create a framework, you're doing well, and and then you have a very strong journey for the ethically contained journey. Yes.
Okay, the last two questions. How should the youth in the global south collaborate to create impact in the innovation space? What exact or precise strategies would you advise?
I think when you talk about, I think I think I'll pick off from where Dr. Joe left off on, and he mentioned very clearly about how global south and global north, and I would say even the global west being another sector altogether. You have so much of variability in how your environment has sustained your way of thinking, your way of approachability. Yes, the way to move forward is to read, is through self-development, is through, talking to more and more people, understanding more value systems out there, and generally self-developing yourself, then your team, and then of course the entire solution that you're taking further. But I think the biggest strategy that you could take forward in terms of how the global south young leaders can come together is think about one, your country. Is your country depending on any solution out there? And then you're building an innovative device out here. You've already failed yourself, right? So if there is a major problem, there is a major institution trying to solve that problem, why not create that for your own country? And in health writings, that's what we're doing. We know that non-profit is not going to be sustainable in the future. We know that healthcare is pivoting towards a space where you need to be able to drive the coffers into solutions. And yeah, so it starts with building that solution for your country first, and then being able to collaborate with your neighbors, the Asia continent, take it down to the Middle East, take it down to the Asia Pacific region if you must. And you already have a global player there. You don't need to build for the States. You don't need to build for the European nation. And everyone first thinks, oh, where do I scale up to next? And it's going to be Europe or it's going to be the States, because that's where the money and that's where the people are. And really not. Those are the smallest markets in the world. If you talk about just Asia, they've got like the biggest market anyone can think of, the most diverse market. So it starts with very simple steps: build for your country, and so that your country is not dependable tomorrow on a solution from out there, and then build for your neighbors. That's the best way to take it forward.
Okay, great, excellent. Definitely, the youth in Bangladesh are full of entrepreneurial spirit. I am sure they would be listening, and so do the youth in Africa. They are very, very entrepreneurial in nature, and that's my personal experience as well. And please be on mute. Please be on mute, everyone. Please be on mute. Okay, the meeting is still going on. Okay, so the last question: your one success mantra for young health tech entrepreneurs. Just one success mantra.
I would take this on. I think maybe just concluding the entire set of questions that we've just answered out here is about, if you have an idea in your mind, never think that's going to be the final idea that's out there. It's going to be what the people really want. And if you've thought about that idea in terms of what the community wants, you've already got a successful idea that's going to really work. So never keep an idea that because of your own existential problems or ambitions are take up an idea which is collaborated with a lot of experience. Your life journey, 10 people out there as a life journey, and that into 1,000, into hundreds and lakhs is going to be a innovation solution. So
Hello, whoever is speaking, please turn off your mute yourself. Meeting is going on. If you are not attending the meeting, you should leave the meeting. There's no point in staying in the meeting and talking to each other. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Surin Kumar. I think we had a wonderful session and very good panel discussion. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed having chat with you. Like so much knowledge and wisdom.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I enjoyed the session really a lot as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much to the institution as well to come forward and develop this entire lecture series. It's very, very essential to bring this on a platform where people are understanding a diverse set of knowledge speakers and coming forward and implementing them. Because knowledge is one thing, but without action, you're not going to change the world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Hazel, are you online? Please do your. I'm sure Dr. Surin would not be unkind not to oblige us with his presence. He would be kind enough to give us another presence, maybe on another platform next time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, please. Okay, before we conclude, Hazel, please drop the attendance link in the chat. This will again remain open only for the 10 minutes, and do not copy paste anywhere because we are tracking who is also attending online. Okay, thank you, Dr. Surin. Yeah, we shall talk personally later. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you,
So
everyone.
yeah, bye. Okay, so please, Faisal, please drop the message in the chat box. Please note the attendance form will remain open only for the 10 minutes. Only for 10 minutes. Chandrima, you want to say something? You can come on audio and speak. But 5 minutes only. Hazel, have you shared the link?
Am I audible? Hello.
See, we'll not be able to accommodate your questions
Hello,
because we
am I
have a tutors meeting. We have a tutors meeting just after this. We are already running 30 minutes late. Okay. We have lots of things to do as tutors and organizing committee. So we can't be talking to individuals because we have 800 plus people to talk to literally on a daily basis. So what doubt do you have? Please quickly.
Yes, sir. You just talk about attendance sheet and
Attendance sheet, I told
I'm
you,
no
I told you
longer
attendance sheet will be shared in the chat. So please look at it.
meeting chat, but sir,
उसमें
I'm
बोलने का क्या है?
because,
First of all, your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. I cannot hear you. Sorry. And one person at a time. Don't speak 10 people at the same time. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, you please write down in the chat. Okay. Let the admin handle that. I cannot handle it. Okay, because we have to go for the. You have only 10 minutes starting at 8:30 p.m. to 8:35 to 8:45 p.m. to fill up the form. Okay, that's the final message of today. And thank you so much for joining us on the panel discussion session number 2. Okay, attendance will be counted compulsorily, and attendance form has been shared twice as per your request. So therefore, there is no scope or chance or even space for any kind of complaints. Okay, so that's all.
Sir,
We'll not be sharing it in the main group. We'll not be sharing the attendance form in the main group because we know many people exist there only to fill up the form and not to attend the meetings. Yeah.
So we have to fill it twice because we have already
No, if you no. If you have filled once, then you don't have to fill twice. Those who have not filled, they'll fill form. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, if you have clicked on your links, then you can leave the meeting now because we'll convene. We'll stay on this meeting and we'll convene our tutors meeting. So please leave, participants. Please leave. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful good night.
Thank you very
and we'll
much,
all
sir.
talk.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Please,
Thank you so
let's
much.
talk in the groups and you please go and yeah, thank you. हाँ ठीक है
Sir, good
चलिए आप लोग
evening.
सब आराम से जाइए रेस्ट करिए हाँ गुड कौन
Sir,
बोल
good
रहे हैं
evening,
भैया
sir. Sir, Dr. Mayank, sir.
अच्छा गुड इवनिंग हाँ
Sir,
हाँ
right
जी
now I
बोलिए
am not
हाँ
in any specific group of that collaboration. So
please be patient. We just completed the panel. You messaged me and I told you no. We'll talk after the meeting, right? हाँ
okay.
तो क्यों
Okay,
परेशान हो
thank
रहे
you,
हो आप बिल्कुल परेशान मत हो. We are here to help you. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay,
And
thank
I'm
you,
in
sir.
India. You can call me anytime. Okay, don't worry. So
No worry, I don't
so,
wanted to disturb you, sir.
yeah, don't worry. We'll fix everything for you. Don't worry.
Bye,
We are
sir.
just
Thank
worried
you.
about the panel. We were worried about the panel. Panel is over. Now we are free. We'll convene the group tutor meeting first. After that, we'll resolve all your problems. Don't worry. Okay. We'll take care of everything.
Thank you.
चलिए आप लोग you guys please fill the form first because that is compulsory. Please fill the form if it is shared in the chat because I cannot see it. So please fill the form and Hazel, have you shared? Hazel, are you there? Okay. So they have Okay, great. Yeah. So they have only 5 more minutes left. We will not be giving them any extra time. Please, participants, you may leave because we will convene our tutors meeting now. Okay, in this very call. So we will not let you stay here. Yeah. We have to start right now. We don't have time. Yeah, you may leave. Yeah. Please leave so that our tutors can take over. Yeah. fill the form and go and have a proper rest. Okay. Thank you so much for your participation. It was great and lovely to have you all. Hazel, please ask all the members of the tutor group to come so that we can have a quick meeting, because this is necessary to have a quick meeting. 1000 बार मैं सबको सेम चीज बार बार हर इंडिविजुअली ग्रुप में इधर उधर एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकता हूँ. मेरा पेशेंस नहीं है, ना मेरे पास इतना टाइम है. इट्स टू मच. अरे भैया, प्राप्ति रानी सरकार, भुवनेश्वर बेहरा, आप लोग सब जाइए ना आराम से. छोड़ दीजिए, अब हमको हमारा मीटिंग करना है. सिर्फ ट्यूटर को छोड़ के आप लोग सब घर चले जाइए, रेस्ट करिए. प्लीज गो होम, टेक रेस्ट. ओके, ओनली ट्यूटर्स विल बी स्टेइंग हियर. Only tutors join the meeting. Please, all participants, please leave. You have no business staying here. Your attendance form has been shared in the group chat. So please, no, here in the chat. So please fill that form and leave. Thank you. Have a great night. And have a very good, beautiful sleep also. Because that's necessary for good health. अरे भाई जाइए. Hazel, are you there? Please remove everyone except the tutors. Last बार भी वही हुआ था, वो जा ही नहीं रहे थे. भूल जाते वो लोग. हाँ, भूल जाते वो लोग. Forget. Okay, please. We have requested everyone in the. Abu Bakr, if you are joining the group, please also message everyone personally, not in the group only, personally, कि वो tutor group tutor meeting attend करें, है ना? क्योंकि बहुत important है. बार-बार मैं सही चीज सबको बोल नहीं सकता. मेरे पास सच में इतना टाइम नहीं.
Okay, sir. Okay. I am also there with other ID, like my other ID, Janmijay Gupta.
पता नहीं तुम वहाँ कहाँ से आते हो, कैसे रूप में आ जाते हो. ठीक है, चलो.
Yes.
So we have only Dr. Surya Parajuli and we have Jay Gupta. No, sorry, Jay Gupta. Abu Bakr and Bangladesh Institute and me. So, and except that, all other participants only. Yeah, Professor Mahanti has also joined. Okay, good. Okay, good to see him. Yeah. अरे भैया, participants तो जाओ ना घर. Participants, please go home and take rest. We will have our tutors meeting. Okay. आप लोग जाओगे तब तो हम मीटिंग करेंगे.